With 50 plus years of combined produce, supply chain, entrepreneurial, and business experience, Craig Slade and Ed Bertad discuss the impacts of fresh produce on their lives and health. This podcast is a casual conversation between two friends just trying to get better. This is the Fresh Cred.
Well, we are back, and
oh man, I was hoping for a real enthusiastic, and we're back.
that wasn't enthusiastic.
No, that wasn't enthusiastic enough.
Well, yeah, I wasn't really. It's kind of it's a new place for me. I went out there. I saw the people. I saw the excitement going on there, but
I'm floored. I mean, so the short break that we did take, I went out on the show floor, went out to our booth because we actually have a booth out there.
Yeah, well, I do too.
Yeah. Oh, you're behind me.
Yeah.
Or I'm behind you.
Depends on how you
it's pretty impressive, really. I mean, it's exciting. It's dare I say, moving for those of us that have been involved since the very beginning. It's pretty crazy to see that much excitement. It's pretty electric, especially on a Saturday. You know, for folks to be working on a Saturday and be that excited, that's saying something.
So, I mean, I know you saw that, but I think we've been joined by somebody new here.
For sure.
Did you find somebody in the crowd?
We did. Joining us is Wendy Reinhardt Kapsak, CEO, correct, of Produce for Better Health.
You got it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Wendy's joined us for the last couple days and has she moderated our Clean Eating Challenge panel yesterday morning.
Which was very impactful and emotional and inspiring.
You know, I had the pleasure of serving on that panel. I was part of the first class of Clean Eating Challenge participants. Honestly and selfishly, I probably could have stayed up there all day. I had a long list of things that I want to talk about, but obviously everybody had to be able to participate, so don't say it.
I don't want to get off that subject too quick because I did not have the pleasure of being there. I've heard a lot of noise around, good noise, right? Good feedback on that. You know, for the folks that are not here at the show, who we're trying to reach out to, and then, you know, for people that will hear this recorded version down the road, can you guys briefly talk a little bit about it? You mentioned emotional, right? You've told me a little bit about it, but can you guys just kind of give us a little insight? Those of us that weren't there, you know, what was it? Was emotional? What was it about? I know what clean eating is, but what was the whole panel and what were you guys discussing?
So as the leader of the Produce for Better Health Foundation, you know, in my job day to day, I'm focused on helping people live happier, healthier lives with fruits and vegetables. As a registered dietitian and someone who's dedicated my whole career to advancing food and nutrition and health, it was inspiring because many people here with the organization have taken the Clean Eating Challenge. And so that to me is already inspiring, people taking an action to improve their health, number one. Number two is most people, when they have a transformative change, as many on the panel did, and that can require losing a significant amount of weight or uncovering maybe some of the reasons why people do what they do, including themselves, is sometimes you're faced with emotions that you don't quite know when exactly it might hit you in the heart and when it might surface exactly. And so I think that's what we were seeing on stage. And it has nothing to do maybe with what they thought, meaning, oh, I want to be healthier, but really more around why people want to make a change or their aspirations. And for the folks on the panel that were quite emotional, it was seeing family members ask them to make a change and a positive change so that they could be around for them. And I thought that was extremely powerful on the panel.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say just a quick analogy. I know when I posted, after I finished the Clean Eating Challenge and posted, you know, the weight I had lost, I had more interest in that post than anything I could ever have posted about any other subject, right? So, and clearly it was a post that included vulnerability and perhaps, I mean, I kind of joke that people like to see a train wreck, so it could have gone anyway. But it's just kind of amazing. Yeah, and I think for myself as well. I mean, you're attracted to what's real, right? And that's really first hard to find nowadays. But people that are willing to just kind of put it all out there, It's it's to be admired.
Well, and he says that's the most amazing thing. I mean, the lives that Ed's been able to touch, really because of the experience that he had, right? That willingness to be open and out there has probably impacted more people than his physical change or the 50, 100 push-ups, whatever he's trying to do, 200 push-ups he's after, I don't know. But really, it is the opportunity for people to see, wow, I can kind of understand that journey he's on, right? And they connect with that. And via that connection and via his willingness to be as open as he was in the early days, it's meant a lot to a lot of people. And so it's exciting. Sorry I was not able to attend. Somebody had to play golf.
Somebody did.
And
Somebody
so
had to play that role.
I picked me. So
Honestly, for a first session, I think we had about 300 people there. I mean,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
they were. I think folks were concerned. People after not having the opportunity to be together as much as maybe they would have liked to over the course of the last couple of years. When you first see each other, you got some partying to do and some backs to slap and some hugs to give. But in fact, people did show up for that first session, and I think that speaks certainly to the community that's been established here. Not just the Clean Eating Challenge, rather, but just the community that this organization has been able to develop. When at PBH, we're focused on transforming people's lives every single day through fruits and vegetables. We believe that eating more fruits and vegetables is the single most important action that people can take for happier, healthier lives, and the science certainly supports it, but it's the personal connection, the emotional experience, whether it's the actual eating experience itself or the transformative change, whether that be physical or emotional, that really gives people a reason to believe, but a reason also to repeat. And we know through PBH research that repeated positive experience usually leads to long-term change.
Right.
And so we uncovered that too in the panel.
Yeah, for you guys and the work you're doing, that's what I wanted to get to, the PBH stuff for sure, as you guys are a nonprofit, and you're really about trying to really change the world through fruits and vegetables. Is that pretty much?
That's pretty much the deal.
What's that?
I mean,
Yes.
PBH was the originator of the 5-a-day program, right?
They were, yeah. Well, actually, it
Or
was the
y'all
state of
were.
California.
State of California.
And then to take it nationwide, then there was a public-private partnership with PBH and some other government agencies, and they took it nationwide. And so what we've learned between then, that was more than 30 years ago, till now, is that consumers certainly have evolved. And back in those early days, a lot of people did not know that 5 a day was where they wanted to go. Today, we have another call to action called Have a Plant. And this speaks to Millennial and Gen Z's desire to not, or many of us, to
That's
not
you
be
guys over
told
there, by the way.
Yeah, what to do or, how to do things, but really more of an invitation to enjoy fruits and vegetables and the eating experience, which speaks more to immediate benefits than, let's say, those long-term health benefits for which the organization started from. Those are still super important: heart health, reducing our risk of other, major diseases.
Sure.
But that's table stakes here in this business, I believe. And so we want to open people up to have a new relationship with fruits and vegetables and to increase consumption, because that benefits, it benefits people, it benefits business, it benefits the planet.
So how in the world are you reaching Gen Zs? Is it social media?
It is.
Is it social media?
It is, yes.
So you haven't done a banana NFT yet?
No, we have. Well, hey, I've actually thought about stuff like that to consider how we might look at unique ways to fundraise, for sure. So it's on the table.
I'm thinking a zucchini NFT. We should be first. Sun-fed zucchini.
That could be
NFTs.
cool.
There
That
you
could be
go.
cool.
I'm right there.
That could be awesome.
So yeah, but realistically, for this, for really connecting with anybody, right? But particularly the younger crowd, social media is the big thing. Is there anything else outside of social media that you've found that's really resonating with that group?
If you think about where the United States is headed from a population standpoint, there's going to be a lot more diversity.
Yeah.
And so it's not just the movement itself, but how let's say the Have a Plant movement then comes to life through people who authentically are engaging within their own communities. So we have essentially the Have a Plant movement, if you think about it like an umbrella, and then we have more than 300 plus ambassadors that are taking the movement to the masses, essentially to their communities. And that can be, in the digital online, I would call like inspiration space from a food and nutrition standpoint, but we also have ambassadors in retail and food service as well, because they're making an impact, within, let's say, what I like to say is retail is the point of sale, food service, the point of flavor, and then our online and digital influencers from a food, nutrition, agricultural space, that's the point of inspiration. People have to want a desire to purchase and or select those items when they go to the store,
We always say it's
go out to eat.
they're kind of impulse buys, right? I mean, for me, when I go in the produce department, there are the staples, obviously, and then a bunch of impulse buys as well. So to a certain degree.
Yes, I would love them to be automatic pulses versus just,
Yeah.
I want fruits and vegetables to become truly a behavior that has to become automatic. And that goes back to the anatomy of a habit. So I want them actually to be subconscious selections so that it's just what we do. It's just what we do. Every morning I was on the panel, I said, every morning you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And we all might do it a little differently, but it's an automatic thing. We know we're going to brush our teeth. We have a familiar context and action, and then a reward, i.e. in this case, it's fresh breath. Fruits and vegetables, we've only just scratched the surface in terms of the actual immediate rewards that fruits and vegetables can bring to bear. And it's typically in the context of emotions. I feel great joy, or when I eat, let's say fruit has a personality. Vegetables have a personality. People don't necessarily feel joy when they eat them, but they feel great pride because they know they're feeding themselves and their family something really delicious. So I believe that the industry has only begun to unpack the emotional connectivity that can actually really happen with the products.
Right.
That's awesome.
So, you talked a little bit about the ambassadors.
Yes.
So action-wise, I mean, do you have some examples of
Yes.
kind of things that the ambassadors are doing and what that means to be an ambassador?
Sure. So we have more than 300 ambassadors, and I mentioned in retail, food service, and at the point of inspiration, or in the digital food and nutrition and agricultural space. So these people essentially commit and or volunteer their time, and they create content that then makes its way through our digital ecosystem, essentially as a distribution network of inspiration. But some of that is not just taking place online. I'll give you an example in retail. So a regional retailer basically determines that they're going to help their shoppers determine 30 ways to have a plant.
Okay.
And so they're going to look at how to pair, for example, produce with other produce items, but also with other nutrient-rich pairings to create meal solutions for their shoppers. And this, can take place in like the communications, whether it's their either digital magazine or the circular or some kind of other kind of healthy living type of magazine that engenders a sense of shopper trust and engagement. But we can also do specific product promotions and produce promotions, for example. So some of our produce promotions where we pair a fresh produce item, let's say, with another item, it could be within in the fresh department or outside of the fresh department. Is we've seen upwards of 600% sales increases.
Really?
Yeah, because we're giving shoppers an opportunity to maybe think of something they haven't already thought of. And sometimes we see that can lift even after the promotion has continued. So usually it's not just what we're doing in the store, but also how we're engaging with those shoppers online through the retailers' channels, as well as PBH's, or the Produce for Better Health Foundation's own digital channels as well. So we're kind of partners in bringing produce together, not just in the store, but also in the digital and online space.
It's a lot of moving parts.
That is a lot of moving parts.
So I wanted to get to one question before we run out of time. Looking for some honesty. Where does your passion come from regarding produce, fruits and vegetables? I mean, how far does it go back? Is it something that you came to late in life, early in life? I mean, like where were you at?
So as a young person, I really wanted to be a physician, and I did everything you can do before you take what's called the MCAT to get in med school. And then I had a wholesale shift. And that shift really sparked from the fact that my mother ended up having terminal cancer. And so going through that process, I really decided that I wanted to work with well individuals and keep them well. Because when people get sick, they get real sick. And by the time they go to the hospital, they get real sick. And so at that point, it's another professional's opportunity to try to make them well. I was really began then being interested in keeping people well. So I would say at a early age, certainly in my 20s, I always wanted to help people, but then made that shift from, gosh, am I going to repair sick people, or am I going to keep well people well? And then so I got both my degrees in nutrition and exercise science, became a registered dietitian, and had the opportunity. I think what also motivates me just in my career is working with lots of different types of individuals and to coalesce them around a common goal. And then that's the challenge, actually. And then certainly the result can be advancing opportunities for which people really see that they have more choices than what's really before them in the beginning. I'm interested in helping people see more and get more out of themselves than they even realize.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is, it's super impressive. And, and I love the fact that where your motivation comes from, right? We talk about the business that, for us that we're in, and as you try and get people on this journey, but you're really coming at this from a giving space,
Yes.
right? Yeah, it's a giving space, which is, there's, I mean, for me, I love that, and I know that anybody's in that space. I mean, that kind of your ability to create a message, having that kind of passion makes it that much more connecting with people, and you're going to have so much more effect than some kind of personal gain, right? Yeah. So I love it that you're coming from a giving space and the whole deal.
And I believe, for those of you that are listening that are part of, let's say, even the industry, is I believe that you are more powerful than maybe even you believe you are.
Amen.
And so I've worked in other industries for which, when I've seen and experienced them come together around a common goal and then have a greater voice, have more power, and then be able to advance a cause like fruit and vegetable consumption that is really difficult to argue. I mean, who doesn't want it? But that brings me to a point of the challenge, which the challenge is getting the industry to coalesce. And that's it. It doesn't bother me because I believe in you, and I believe that you can accomplish great things. And so you have to do what you do every day, but there is an opportunity to unify the industry around consumption in a way that hasn't happened before. And so I'm on a journey to help consumers every day through the Have a Plant movement, but I'm also on a journey to advance the industry by helping us coalesce around consumption to elevate it as a national priority in the U.S.
So you said challenge in there on coalesce, because I completely agree. You're speaking to the choir, as they say, or singing to the choir here.
Preaching to the choir.
Preaching. That's right. You're preaching to the choir. That's what it is. Anyway, for me, right? I'm right. What do you think the challenge is to get the industry to coalesce? What do you think our obstacles are? Because I agree. I don't think we are completely coalesced together on consumption being the key. But I'm just curious. You got any insight as to what you think's the challenge there?
I think that sometimes I would love to see the industry have a growth mindset, meaning I don't have a fixed mindset on what the actual pie looks like. The pie or the share of stomach for fruits and vegetables could be much bigger than it is. So then if I agree with that statement, I have to say, well, what is the true competition today? And it is each other in certain instances, but when I think about the bigger picture, it's not. It's every other food that's competing for that stomach share. So if we look and we see kind of another layer up, we really do see that the competition for Americans' time and energy and their share of stomach is not really each other. It's really, we have an opportunity to really grow that share of stomach for fruits and vegetables in a way that the nation really hasn't experienced.
And so so we need to be, what you're saying is the message that we've got to be screaming from the rooftops. We you said it's some no, I don't believe we're in competition with each other. I think that's part of the problem. We beat each other up. It's like the crabs trying to get out of the bucket, you heard, where they pull each other down, right? It's kind of like that. We don't want to see that. And it's like, guys, we got to quit pulling each other down because we're holding back the pie from getting bigger, right? If we just get the pie bigger, there's a space for us all. But there's even another level to that competition. I think our competition is Tylenol. I think our competition is the pharmaceutical industry, right? I believe, now this may just be me and my craze, but I believe we have the opportunity to, replace medication in some case. I know people that have changed the way they eat and reduced their heart medicine. They've reduced their medication.
One
right?
of our first participants basically ate her way out of taking diabetic medication. I mean, literally turned it around.
So
But there was that shift, and her share of stomach changed.
Yeah.
In a way that changed her individual life. If you want to make wholesale or collective or national level change in a way that shifts from a treatment mindset, if you will, to a prevention one or a wellness one, the industry will have to raise its voice.
Yeah. I completely agree. And, because like I say, there's share of stomach, but there's share of wallet, right? And I believe beyond a shadow of doubt that we're cheaper than pharmaceuticals.
And you taste better, too.
And we taste a heck of a lot better. And you feel better. I mean, it's an energy. But that's a message, we've got to get out the message that you talked about that, look, our competition is 70%, 80% of the grocery store, really. I mean, it's everybody else in the store that we're trying to take from the share of stomach, right? And there's parts of that's who we want to compete against. And then there's the share of the pocketbook in making the decision. If we have the opportunity by changing how people eat to reduce their medication,
And I think there's an opportunity, though. You mentioned something about the rest of the grocery store. I don't know if it's 70%, but I do think that there are, if we say that we have to look at the competition, let's say, you also have to understand them. And there's probably a way for you in some instances to work with them. So for example, when I talk to all of my animal agriculture friends, they recognize that they need fruits and vegetables to shift diets. They realize that. And so I think sometimes really engaging with the competition, if you will, in a different way. I actually don't think they're the competition. I think it's snack food, but how Americans eat today. But we want them to pick these products. We want them to pick fruit and vegetables at every meal and snack occasion. And that's going to, because of the way people eat today, we have to start somewhere. So I always like to give the example of Taco Tuesday. We can have Taco Tuesday. Oh, it's a familiar context. I love Taco Tuesdays. But then we say, okay, well, did Taco Tuesday stop with a little bit? You want more of this. A little bit of tomatoes and maybe a little bit of shredded lettuce. Well, we could stop there, but that gets boring. And then people are tired of Taco Tuesday and they go to something else. But can we have Taco Tuesday with guacamole and now like sauteed bell peppers and onions and, oh my gosh, and now we have more leafy greens because now we're going to create taco salads and now we're going to do deconstructed burger nights. And there's so many ways to inspire consumers with this, but we have to put them at the head of the table, meet them where they are, and then work with folks that are in a position to help us shift them to us. And they need us too. Most of my friends in the food industry would like to see a shift in American diets in a way that shifts us to the positive nutrients for sure.
And I will concede the correction. So I said 70% because I am a believer primarily in the fresh space. I mean, particularly the protein space along with the produce. So I would say I might have overestimated, but I do think center store, there's some competition in there, although they may not be considered snack food. I'm not sure processed foods are ideal. So it's more of a, like I say, a fresh diet. So maybe it's only 50% of the store that will compete. But it is share stomach, and it is about people changing their lives. And for me, it's again, the journey that I got on, the journey he's been on, the other people that we know, friends that we've talked to got on. It's so worthwhile.
It really is.
It's so worthwhile.
How do you shorten the curve, the learning curve to the aha moment, regardless of what level of success or how you even measure success? It's more the psychological approach, and I think that's what interests me the most is getting people to that point where they're not wrapped around the axle about, how much food they eat or when they're going to eat. Or, I said yesterday, I think somebody asked me something about, well, how about travel? How do you do it when you travel? I said, well, through intermittent fasting, which is a kind of a touchy subject with some people. But whereas before I'd get, super obsessed about, hey, I'm going to be in a plane. What if it's delayed? What if it's stuck on the tarmac? What am I going to eat? I'm going to die. Now, through intermittent fasting, I can honestly say, by and large, if I can't find something healthy to eat, I won't eat until I can find something healthy to eat. It's okay.
When I would counsel, I have counseled individuals in the past, and so most people would come to me, for example, for weight loss, and so they would expect that the first thing we were going to talk about is everything that they shouldn't eat. But instead, what I would have them do is actually write out their entire day. Everything from when they watch TV, when you eat breakfast, whatever. But when do they watch TV? When are they in transit? So that way we start to see patterns in our life. And then we start to make some trade-offs. And so when we really are faced with the trade-offs, then we're in a position of control because we can make decisions about those things. And then the what happens in the context of those choices is different. So I think I'm always been in a position to want to put people in control of their own life. And sometimes people coming at it a little differently. Like you mentioned, what works for you, or sometimes people don't even realize their life patterns in a way that they believe and or actually realize and actualize that they can make some different choices. And so to put people in the control, to be in control of those decisions is quite empowering.
Leading them to it.
Yes.
Yes. You can't hit people over the head with it. I had a good friend, TJ Flowers, was telling me for years, you can intermittent fast. I was one of those people that said I had to eat the minute I woke up. I had to eat the minute I opened my eyes, and I had to have something to be able to focus. And now I go 20 hours without eating. So the fact that I never thought I could do it and then did, and somebody told me for 2 years, I'm 2 years behind now because I didn't listen to him.
Let's be a little easy on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, on that note, Wendy, we're running up against the end of our time here, but we want to give you a chance to let folks know what's next for you, either event-wise, where you're going to be next, or, for PBH, anything else you want to share before we wrap up today?
Yeah, thank you. So at the Produce for Better Health Foundation, we're certainly focused on, like I said, transforming people's lives with fruits and vegetables. What's coming up next for us is we're getting ready to kick off the Celebrating the Roots of Our Food campaign. And that's going to kick off in June, where we're going to celebrate all the farmers, growers, and supply chain heroes that make sure that produce makes its way to our plate. And then we're going to be capping that quarter off, if you will, with National Fruits and Veggies Month. That takes place in September, and it's really a celebratory month for us to really celebrate everything that is fruits and vegetables. And we'll have some new research insights to share that can certainly help different folks, kind of maybe pick a habit that they'd like to start. And so that's something that's coming up for us. We're very focused, though, on, for the next 18 months, elevating fruit and vegetable consumption as a national priority here in the United States. And so while you're going to see a lot of great stuff, as always, coming out from our social media channels at Fruits and Veggies, as you can find us most handles there, is you're going to see more from us as it relates to really helping multiple stakeholders find their place, empowering them to make a stand for fruits and vegetables and really elevate them as a national priority. We got to do it so that we can, in fact, shift not just our health, but also the opportunities for every American to live a happy life.
That's awesome.
So at Fruits and Vegetables, that's how you find you guys most places?
Yeah, if you want to visit the website, it's fruitsandveggies.org. And for Instagram and Facebook, it would be at Fruits and Veggies. And if you're interested in Twitter, always there too, at fruits_veggies.
All right.
So
Well,
that's where you can find us.
I got to believe your Twitter is a little less aggressive than some of the other Twitters out there. So if you need like a positive Twitter place, that's a good place to go.
If you need some positive insights, always on the positive. We got to be.
All right, very nice. Well, look, it's been great.
It's been great.
And,
Thank you so much for having
Thanks for all
me.
you do.
So-
Thank
so,
you for your work. For sure.
and
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.